Hey y'all, Lisa Davis here, and I want to talk about the executive orders Trump signed yesterday on day 2 to have remote workers that work for the government go back into the office, mandatory. It was so funny today on TikTok. So many government workers, if they were alleged government workers, were talking about how it's near impossible. And the Biden administration also put out an executive order, also ordered them back into the office as well. But because of the intricacies that it takes to work in the government, the legal jargon, the policies, the procedures, it's almost impossible to just tell somebody to go back to the office and they have the ability to go. So I'm going to show you this one video I found today. Let's watch this clip.
Everyone that works remote, take a deep breath. We have no guidance. Please wait for guidance. I just got out of a meeting. There is no guidance. Oftentimes, this administration, they do things for the theatrics of it, okay? Breathe. Once we get guidance, then we go from there. This is how we have to treat everything that is going to be happening under this administration, because if not, then we are going to all have a really bad anxiety.
So the reason I think this is so funny is because the last time Trump was in office, these are the type of things that happens when he makes his executive orders, or he stands up in front of everybody at one of those podiums and say, this is what I want to do. I want to whatever it's going to be, right? He doesn't provide any guidance. And so implementation is nearly impossible. I was looking at this video and I started to see a lot of videos from a lot of government workers expressing their disdain, their inability to follow the order. And one person even mentioned in the comment section that they didn't even have room for them to go back to any office space. So where are they supposed to go? I have another clip I want to play here. But she was so funny to me when she was saying, breathe. We know this has happened to us before. We are not new to this. Don't freak out. You shouldn't get in trouble. It's just that until we have guidance, there's not a way to implement how we're supposed to move to get back into the office. Now, this person brought up another good point.
Order to send federal workers back to work in the office 100%. They are no longer allowed to work remotely. But here's the commentary that I've been seeing of federal workers across my For You page. Number one, they have questions around telework and if telework falls into that category. Number two, does this also apply to contractors for the federal government? Or is that simply just federal workers directly? In addition to that, the biggest thing is where you want them to go when they go to work. Because apparently a lot of these facilities sold the building and sent their employees to work from home.
So the question is, when he puts these executive orders out and he orders people to go back into the office, where are they supposed to go? And is it remote workers? Is it teleworkers? Is it contract workers that work remotely for the government? As a consultant, I have done government contracts, so I work from home. Would I be a remote worker that's contracted with the government that works at home but is contracted, so I have to go in office and work? I mean, you see what I'm saying? There's no guidance, no rules, no definitions. And so everybody stayed home, but it's stressful. It is stressful to not be able to do what you're being told to do or ordered to do in this manner without guidance. I saw another, let's look at this next clip. It was just all day today with questions, concerns. Where do we go? How do we do this? Are we going to get in trouble if we don't? And this is the chaos that this man brings to the office. This is the chaos. This was funny because it says President Donald Trump signed an executive order to require federal workers to return full-time in-person work. Where did they go? Where did they go, President Trump? Where are they supposed to go? Where are they supposed to work? Especially if their building was sold and it has a new owner. They can't go there. So who's the person that's helping you put these types of policies and procedures into place so that people know where they need to go? We don't have to do some things so quickly. We don't have to do things so rapidly. Like you signed the executive orders yesterday and it's mandated for today with no guidance and no definition, no policy, no procedure. It doesn't have to be that quick, sir. We can take our time and get these things done and done correctly. I do understand you have a constituency to satisfy to see you do all these changes, but what they don't know is that you're signing all these executive orders and they're not being implemented. Why? Why aren't they being implemented? Because you haven't sat down and figured out a strategy. You haven't figured out processes. You don't have anybody overseeing the changes you want to make. You're just signing documents as you did the last time you were in office. And it creates extreme chaos.
So I wanted to make a video to address the remote work for federal employees. And I'm coming to y'all as a federal employee, one, and also a human resources professional, because I've been doing this work for over 20 years. So I feel like I am qualified to have this conversation with y'all. One, I would not get in a tizzy or get hysterical about the fact that Donald Trump wants us to return to work. Joe Biden said the same thing. And if you live in the DC area, 9 times out of 10, you've already returned to work, because I think they had to return for like 5 days a week. However, there's still max telework for a lot of people. Now, telework, remote work, they're not the same. However, you can be a remote employee and have telework. Or you could have telework and not be remote. So they're not the same. He wants to end remote work. I think that that's going to be extremely hard for him, because there's so many legal things that have to be done to make a person return to work or cancel remote work. Can it happen? Absolutely. I think that if it does go into effect, it's going to take, one, a very long time. And then two, they're going to have to pay for you to move to wherever your office is, or make you go to a office that is local to you, that is in the same realm. Such as, I work for VA, I would have to go to the nearest VA facility. Can you get out of returning to work? Absolutely. There's all kind of legal ways that you could get out of returning to work. One is RA. They cannot make you return to work if you need reasonable accommodation, which a lot of people did after COVID. They went and got reasonable accommodation so they don't have to go back into the office. Long story short, there is a way to get around having to go back to work. Will a lot of people use it? Absolutely. Have a lot of people already use those excuses? Absolutely. And there's nothing that they could do to stop that, because it's the law.
All right, so there you have it. Trump needs to do more than just sign executive orders. And this is the problem when we have people come into government, work for the government without experience on all of the legalese of how the government operates, and doesn't have that experience, and also doesn't seem to want to keep the people that have the experience, or at least use them as somebody that can provide you with guidance, can provide you with somebody you can talk to figure out a strategy to get these things done. So we're going to see how this pans out. I think I had one more snippet that I wanted to look at.
Our new commander-in-chief signed into executive order mandating all executive branches of the government to take all necessary steps to terminate remote work by making all federal employees come back into the office. There is a difference between remote work and telework. Remote work is essentially you don't come into the office at all. You have a designated office or space that you work out of that is separate from the federal home agency, wherever that is. Telework agreement is you work a certain amount of days or hours or at the agency office, and then a certain amount of days at home. What President Trump signed into executive order does not impact telework agreements. So if you currently have a telework agreement with your executive branch, you're safe. If you have a remote agreement, the only one that I've seen thus far that's abiding by this is Department of Homeland Security. And how they plan on implementing this, I have no idea, because if you currently support DHS or if you've ever supported DHS, you know that they've reduced their office space since 2020. So it should be interesting. But you are not impacted if you have a...
So you hear it again for a third time? Remote work is different from telework. Both are not in the office. Both can go back to the office, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take some planning. It's going to take figuring out where they can go, right? Are they going to go, and do they have the ability to get into the office, or do they need to go to a different office outside of the state? So there's a lot of things to work around. And is there an office to go to? And is there an office to go to? Is there a building to go to? Is there space for them to go back to that space, right? So this is just one of many things that's going to be happening over this administration. And I just thought this was funny, because if Trump would have just took a few moments to reach out and ask, how does this thing work? Or his people, whoever works for him, could have figured out how this works. We wouldn't have so many people kind of in limbo, worried about their job, having anxiety, not wanting to break the rules, but not having anywhere to go, not having the processes to do it. It's just, this is what the 4 years are going to look like. This is what the 4 years are going to look like. So want to know your thoughts. Were you impacted by any of the executive orders? If you were, comment below. I want to hear from you. I want to know which executive orders impacted your work if you work for the government, and how are you guys implementing it? How are you guys carrying out the orders? And are you able to carry out the orders? Are they hard to carry out? I just want to know. Because I just want to know. I'm nosy. So that's all I got for today. Let me know your thoughts. I just thought this was funny. And let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And if you like the content, please subscribe. My channel will be focusing on talking about the things that are going on with the government that impact local economies, small businesses, and affordable housing projects, or affordable housing in your communities. I am a small business consultant. I am a former banker that did work around affordable housing and small business startups. So that is kind of still my focus. And so I like to follow these things. And especially every year when the new administration creates their budget, I like to see where the monies are going, how they're going to be implementing strategies in order to fund the needs of every state and the things that go on around community and economic development. So, and we talk about a lot of other things here. We talk about a lot of things. So check out some of my videos, see what you like. Let me know what you want to know more of. The next thing we got coming up is going to be around the dismantling of the regulatory agencies in the financial industry. So the CFPB, the Federal Reserve, and the FDIC are all up on the chopping block. We're going to be following it. Let's talk about it. I'll talk to you later. My name is Lisa Davis, and I am the trusted